Flowing through my mind, bro.
Freak is that? What's up, YouTube? Captain Fox here, back on the video, and today we are reacting to Lost Narrator, Screams and Silence, which I've been trying to get to literally yesterday, but I didn't. Freak is that? I don't know what that is, but guys, I hope you guys are like not getting annoyed with me with these Roblox videos that I keep posting. Look, I just wanted to post a lot of gameplay on Roblox. Like, I don't know, we just never do Roblox that much, and I kind of just wanted to get to it. But it was fun. It was fun. We're gonna lower it down with the Roblox a little. But let's get back to the reactions. The reactions, okay? We've been missing out on those. Last time I reacted to something, it was Scribbler. That was the last time we reacted to something. But today we will be doing this video. We'll be reacting to another we're reacting to the Lost Narrator. I have not got to her in a while. Without further ado, let's get into it. I mean, we did react to her video. We reacted to that last story of curse word. Let's get it.
Warning. The following reading contains subject matter that some listeners might find disturbing or difficult to hear. Listener discretion is advised.
Lost Narrator. Pause. What is this?
The sophisticated earth pony with the warm gray coat and the dark smooth mane and tail, Octavia, was unrivaled for her air of professionalism and skill. She was the essence of poise, especially when her
this voice reminds me of the series of Vampireless, bro.
Filling the very air with the beauty she created. She was Equestria's pinnacle of classical music interpretation, most famously known for her perfectionism. Octavia never missed a note, never faltered, and never allowed a listener to leave her concerts or performances with dry eyes. To most ponies, it was a shock to learn that such a mare lived in a modest little two-tone cottage on the outskirts of Ponyville, far from the sophistication she surrounded herself with at performances. Of course, this made perfect sense to Octavia, as it provided her with relief from prying and critical eyes. More importantly, though, it meant she could love the mare of her affection without judgment. A mare so far removed from her world that when together they hardly aroused suspicion. Her companion was a DJ, a party animal with a reputation for flair and earth-shattering beats. The blue-maned, pale-furred unicorn, Vinyl Scratch, had a life bathed in artificial lights and sounds. She stood as the forerunner of a musical revolution by combining music in a way that had never been done before. The upbeat, booming, and celebrated music she created had caused most classically trained ponies alarm. Most, but not all. Octavia held nothing but love for vinyl. She enjoyed experiencing this new music and having a life drastically different from the one her family and friends encouraged her to live. Vinyl was a breath of fresh air, but more than that, she was a wild ride. It didn't matter to Octavia where she came from or how she came off to others. Vinyl was her world, and she would do anything to ensure their happiness. That was why
But at what cost?
Afternoon was so important. Everything.
About to take a turn. I already know it.
Down to the last detail. Octavia's movements were fluid and precise. She gingerly set the porcelain teacup on its matching saucer and tilted her head to the side. She was trying to gauge the distance from cup to cup and from each linen to the table's edge.
What do you think?
She asked her
You
companion,
got
who
Scribbler?
was finishing the cleaning of their cottage in anticipation of their guest. She smoothed the rug with her magic and trotted to her mere friend, tilting her head to the side, the way Octavia had. Vinyl said nothing, but the inquisitive expression on her face caused the Earth Pony to laugh.
I don't know why I ask you such things. Perhaps I'm just eager.
Octavia admitted with a laugh.
Bro, this is supposed to be a grimdark, so I don't know what's about to happen. Like, I'm kind of nervous.
Before igniting her horn with magic to levitate
Well,
the
kinda, I am
from
nervous.
its place. The pair of ponies looked up to the windows when they heard the unmistakable sound of a Pegasus arrival. Octavia's heart swelled in excitement as she sprang to her hooves and headed towards the door. She paused for a moment at the doorway to stifle her enthusiasm and straighten the collar around her neck. She peered over her shoulder to her lover, giving her an excited grin.
Rainbow Dash.
Octavia drew.
I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like this. Nah, pause. I don't like this, bro.
We're so delighted to host you this afternoon.
The Rainbow Mane Pegasus straightened up and smiled.
Host me? Oh, you mean have me over? Yeah, yeah, no problem. I've never actually been to your place before. I'm totally digging the different colors. How'd you get half of your house to be purple and the other half be brown anyway?
Dash asked as Octavia moved aside to allow her access. Before she could answer, Dash's eyes lit up at the sight of the unicorn across the room sporting a smirk that rivaled Dash's.
Hey, Pone 3! I haven't partied with you in ages. I really gotta make one of your shows in Manhattan. Your beats are sick.
It's Vinyl, actually. DJ Pone 3 is her stage name.
Octavia said, trotting to the tea table and delicately taking her seat. Vinyl turned her way and pursed her lips. She knew how much Octavia hated being snubbed by the ponies that didn't appreciate her strides in classical music.
Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot. Vinyl Scratch, right?
Dash asked, and Vinyl nodded in return.
That's a pretty awesome name, too.
Rainbow turned to the tea table and failed to hide the grimace that followed. Tea parties were more Fluttershy.
She ain't said nothing to her, which is kind of giving me like a little bit of the chill. Cause I'm just nervous, man. I was just dude. I'm just bruh. Look, from last reaction, from that last narration that Scribbler did, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for this. Because last time, some weird stuff like popped off where Celestia was getting eaten or whatever. So I don't know where we're going with this.
Not daintily sipping a liquid Dash so loving.
I don't know where we're going with this. Like, bro, chill.
Tea?
Octavia asked, oblivious as Vinyl.
Nah, I don't want your tea.
No thanks. Not really a fan.
Dash answered, taking her seat and eyeing the china, like it would shatter at her mere touch.
So, what did you want to do? I heard Pone 3 at Vinyl's got a new showstopper, and I'm dying to hear it.
Vinyl smirked and levitated the cup to her lips to take a dainty sip. It was a little odd for Dash to see her behaving in such a way when she was used to watching the mayor make a spectacle of the bassy beats she thundered from her speakers.
Oh yes, she's been working hard to perfect her songs and her DJing skills. The industry for her music is still in its infant stages, but she knows from watching me that the music world can be quite cutthroat. If you do not establish yourself in the forefront, you are easily forgotten.
Octavia slowly stirred 2 lumps of sugar into her cup as she spoke, never once meeting Dash's gaze. Dash looked a little confused. She met Vinyl's shade, searching for her gaze beneath.
You're a mere of few words, huh?
She asked blatantly. Octavia laughed a little, and Vinyl snickered.
She cannot speak, Rainbow Dash.
Rainbow Rainbow's blue face turned pale when she heard that. Immediately she looked away and tried to suppress the blush that would inevitably follow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I never really thought about it. I guess when I see you, the music's too loud to notice, and, oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Octavia arched an eyebrow, bemused at Rainbow tripping over her words in an effort not to offend her hosts.
It's quite all right, Rainbow Dash. Most ponies aren't aware. With the exception of a handful of event organizers and Princess Twilight. Many assume she's shy.
Octavia said, lovingly putting her hoof on Vinyl's. Vinyl smiled in turn and squeezed her hoof, nodding in Rainbow's direction.
In fact, that is something we're working to change, isn't it, dear?
Vinyl nodded and ignited her horn to take a hot.
I don't know if I like this. Like,
biscuits.
Oh? Like speech therapy
something
or
going
something?
on right now. I'm telling you. I'm gonna pause this
Her
right
sister
now.
Maud didn't.
I'm telling you, something's going on right here, and it's not sitting right with me. Like, what do you mean that she can't speak? Like, bro, something's off here. Something about this is off. I have a theory, because when I think of, like, what's going on in this story. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When I listen to these narrations or any type of narration story, I picture it in my head and just try to see, what's going on here. And then listen. Like, bro, did y'all ever do that? I mean, I think we all do it because, it's fun to do it with your imagination. But the way that these stories get, I don't know if it's going to be fun anymore. Dude, but bro, I'm going to tell you this right now. What if, this is just a theory, but what if I'm actually correct, I'm telling you, I'm the best detective there is. I do this with Lifetime movies and I somehow get this right. What if Octavia did something to Vinyl, or she can't say nothing, or I don't know. I don't like how this story's going because it's kind of hinting at that from the way she's talking to her, because it's kind of making me like it's not sitting right with me. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Silly until she went to that. Not really sure how that works, but if it could work for Maud, it can definitely work for you.
Dash offered, trying to fix her faux pas by offering.
I thought Maud do
solutions.
talk, but she just talked like
Well,
with a straight
thinking
face
about
the
it
whole
when I
time.
get back
That
in.
will be necessary, Rainbow. Though I thank you for the thought.
Octavia interrupted.
We will be handling it in our own way, much like we do everything else.
Dash shifted awkwardly in her seat, reaching for a biscuit and trying not to make eye contact with Octavia or Vinyl.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Octavia
either.
noticed her discomfort and gently set the tea back down on the table.
I'm saying I'll be feeling uncomfortable the whole time. Something ain't right about
Have
it.
you ever been in love?
Rainbow's head immediately snapped up and she locked eyes with Octavia in shock. It wasn't exactly a common question asked, especially amongst ponies who were little more than acquaintances. She blushed, opening her mouth to respond, but closing it again briskly for fear that she would further embarrass herself.
I never thought I would fall for some pony.
Octavia pierced the awkward silence and took another sip of her tea.
I simply didn't have the time. Being an accomplished cellist since fillyhood meant there was a constant demand for my attention. I was surrounded in Canterlot pretension, lost in a sea of impostors who puffed themselves up to seem more important than they were.
That sounds about right.
Rainbow said with a mouthful of pastry.
Rarity tried to be like them once, and that didn't go over well. I don't know why any pony would want to be that way.
Rainbow's lack of manners caused a crumb to fly from her open maw to strike Octavia's
That scared me.
cheek. Octavia bristled, her eyes narrowing for a moment, and she took a sharp breath. For a moment it looked like she would cry out in disgust, but instead she let out a calming breath and sat up a little straighter.
Nor do I, Miss Dash. More than anything, though, that kind of life is lonely.
Vinyl put her hoof reassuringly on Octavia, that last word left her quivering lips in a whisper.
I don't like this,
There
man.
was genuine hurt behind
I'm
those
I'm
words,
getting real
and
uneasy
even
with this.
Dash could sense her pain. Dash set down the rest of the pastry and smiled reassuringly.
Well, hey, you've got vinyl now, right?
Dash asked,
Yeah.
infusing as much excitement as she could.
Probably a slave. I'm just saying, look, it's a theory.
How'd you two meet anyway?
Octavia knew Dash was just trying to change the subject, and she was glad she did so. She leaned into Vinyl, who wrapped her hooves around the earth pony and planted a soft kiss on her head.
I rescued her from a dark, terrible place.
Octavia said simply, nuzzling into Vinyl's soft
What you
fur.
mean?
Rainbow sat up a little straighter. If there was something she enjoyed, it was a good story, especially ones with danger in them.
Oh, yeah? Where? Ghastly Gorge?
Octavia looked up at Vinyl and gave her a knowing smile. Vinyl nodded and reluctantly
Nah,
pulled away from the
I don't
mirror
think it was
and
that.
towards the living room. Octavia kept her sights on Rainbow Dash, making sure to keep her gaze.
No. Though that is a terrible place, I'm told.
Octavia gingerly kept the tea set, one piece at a time, to start the cleanup process.
Can I help?
Nonsense, you are the guest.
Octavia said with a smile, placing each piece near the sink, where they would be washed at a later time.
So,
Dash started, looking around the room to see Vinyl moving furniture around. She was very confused, but tried not to make that too apparent to her hosts, so as not to offend them.
where exactly did you meet her?
Well, we met here, but she came from somewhere awful.
Octavia said, walking to Dash's side
What?
and extending out a hoof to help her up. Dash accepted the help, the confusion clearly stamped on her face.
Las Vegas?
Dash joked, hoping to ease the obvious shift in the mood. Before Octavia could respond, Vinyl used her magic to lift the heavy-looking carpet from the living room floor, tossing it onto the couch she had moved against the wall. Dash's eyes grew wide at the sight of what it revealed. A large circle with strange markings that had been crudely carved into the wooden planks that made up the floor. Her first impression of the
I like how the
carvings was
art
an
style changed on
unpleasant
Rainbow's
sense of
face.
dread. She'd heard of dark magic circles from one of Twilight's incessant ramblings. At that moment, she cursed herself for not paying better attention.
That's, cool.
Dash said, laughing awkwardly for a moment, but taking a step back.
Forgive me, Dash, but I fear my impatience got the better of me. You see, Vinyl and I had strived for nothing but a normal courtship and a normal, happy life. But ponies, they just wouldn't understand.
Octavia started, her voice quivering. Rainbow looked up at the two, alternating her gaze between them.
No.
You're worried that ponies would be upset that a mare was with a mare?
Dang it, Ad. What?
I hate to break it to you, but ponies aren't as judgmental as you think. Lyra and Bonbon are a pretty obvious couple, and no one gives them.
Dash said,
Well, thank you. I have to censor that
part
now.
of a supportive friend. Octavia didn't answer. She kept her eyes fixated on the carving on the floor, while Vinyl stood across the way, seemingly doing the same. A silence loomed over the three mares, and the very air around them seemed to thicken.
Yeah, it feels
Barely
like it.
noticeable rumbles
I can
started
feel it from
somewhere
here.
under the
Like,
house.
I
At
just
first,
feel it from
Dash
here,
thought she
dude.
was just hearing things. But soon after, the ground beneath their hooves began to quake. The rumble grew even louder as the objects in the house rattled violently against each other. Although Octavia and Vinyl were able to stand their ground, Dash was not so fortunate. The shaking thrust Dash from her hooves and on to the circle.
Earthquake! We gotta get out of here!
Dash Dash exclaimed, fanning out her wings. She pushed off from the ground, but something snapped out from beneath her and clutched itself to her back leg. Rainbow screamed out in confusion, whipping her head around to see the carvings on the ground, glowing faint red.
What I tell y'all, this was about to go south.
While an oozing black tendril grasped even tighter to her leg.
What's going on? What's that?
Dash fought hard against the unknown assailant, pulling at its slimy arm to try and free her hoof. A second tendril shot from within the circle, grasping hard at her front right hoof and pulling it away from her back leg. The tentacles pulled Rainbow Dash hard against the ground, pinning her to her back as two more latched themselves to her remaining hooves and wings.
What are you doing?
Rainbow was in full panic now, thrusting wildly as her eyes filled with tears of terror. She looked over at Octavia, who was looking hopefully towards Vinyl instead. Dash turned to see what she was looking at, but the large iconic shades Vinyl wore only reflected back Dash's terror, masking the expression beneath.
She chose you, Rainbow Dash. You are the final piece. Once she's completed, she'll get to stay here with me.
Octavia
What? What the heck is going on?
orgasmically excited as she backed away from the red glow. As Dash thrashed about, she noticed how dark the room had become, just a few steps away from them, and Octavia was swallowed up by it.
Chose me? Chose me for what?
Rainbow screamed in anger and anguish.
Let me out! I want out right now!
A new sound started to creep its way into Rainbow's ear through the violent rumbling. It sounded a little like a growl, but too unworldly to belong to any known animal Dash had ever heard. Within a blink, Vinyl was no longer stoically standing to the side, but instead standing atop the Pegasus, hooves on either side of her writhing frame. Dash's breath became erratic as her brain tried to comprehend what she was seeing. The unicorn smiled down at her, but the corners of her smile were extending far beyond the capacity that her cheeks ought to have been able to hold. Her horn ignited, the sound of her magic drowned out by the unholy noises she made. Slowly, the shades of her eyes lifted, and Dash beheld the truth in horror. Vinyl's face was nothing more than a twisted grin, and two large, blackened, empty places where her eyes ought to have been. The darkness she saw in them terrified Dash to her core, like they would suck her into them at any given moment. She couldn't be sure, but she could have sworn she saw figures in those dark portals and heard their sorrowful wailing. Their voices rang out like a chorus, pleading to be released from this hell. The center of this creature, called Vinyl's lips, started to part, elongating her jaw in an unnatural manner, consuming her face with the size of her smile. Rows upon rows of sharp teeth glistened in the red light as another tendril shot out from within the creature's mouth. Rainbow hardly had a chance to react when the black tongue suctioned itself around one of Rainbow's eyes. Stunned in her terror, she couldn't even scream while another tongue jetted from within and onto her second eye. Rainbow thrashed. She could feel vein-like growths moving around and encompassing her eyes until they hit the optical nerves. Finally, she found her voice. Her screams, though visceral, unhinged, and mighty, were barely audible above the cacophony of sounds around her. It melded into the chorus of screams from the souls she'd seen moments earlier in those gaping black craters. But only for a moment. Something thick and slimy had been waiting for that scream, that opportune moment, and took sudden occupancy of her mouth, jutting down her throat. The tentacle had found what it was looking for, encasing it in its black grasp. All at once, the three tendrils pulled back with undeniable force and precision. Blood immediately spurted from Rainbow's eye sockets and filled her throat, furthering her suffocation. The tendrils pinning her in place were holding firm as the blood filled her lungs. Empty sockets wide
Bro,
in
these
terror,
sounds is
eventually
nasty,
shrunk
bro.
back to hide behind eyelids that would never open again.
Hey, Tabby! Do you love me?
Rainbow's voice asked, coming from another's lips.
God, Vinyl, stop it. You're such a child.
Octavia said, playfully shoving her mare friend from behind her in their bed. Vinyl laughed heartily, while Octavia pulled the blankets to her chin.
Aw, come on. You love it when I talk like that.
Vinyl laughed, resuming the lower timbre of the voice that she had trained the vocal cords to accept as normal.
I did not.
Octavia said, throwing one of the extra pillows at her mare friend, who caught it in her magic. She turned to face her with a warm smile, and was met with Vinyl's signature smirk.
But I thought every pony had a boner for the Rainbow Dash, the lesbian icon herself.
What?
Said, pulling Octavia close and smoothing her mane with her hoof.
Not me. I'll take my rebel in the form of a talented musician over a brash show-off any day.
What?
Octavia said, nuzzling into her and sighing contentedly.
I don't know, Tabby. I've been getting some looks, especially now that I've got those dreamy magenta orbs of hers.
You what?
Kidding, Tabby, I'm kidding. You should have seen the look on your face.
Not funny.
Octavia said, hitting her with another pillow.
What is happening, man?
Okay? Okay, I'm sorry.
Octavia pouted and turned away from Vinyl, clutching the soft weapon to her chest in case she needed it again. Vinyl could sense Octavia's unease and realized that joke might have been a step too far.
Hey, Tabby, it doesn't matter. You know that, right? I'm yours. I've always been yours since the moment you called me.
This is this.
I'll always be yours, well beyond this mortal plane.
This is.
Vinyl said,
This is too much for me. I need a chill pill.
Octavia whispered, a renewed feeling of comfort washing over her.
Always.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
I think I'm done.